Hey everybody, it's Marc Gill from Marc's on the Grill. Hey man, if you've been with us all day, then you know what's coming. It's time to see these ribs again. If you haven't, let me tell you a little bit about what we've been doing today, okay? We showed up at about, I don't know what, 9 o'clock this morning, and we started with 6 racks of ribs, and we decided to do these things called 3-2-1 ribs. That means that you smoke them for 3 hours at 225 degrees, and you take them out, wrap them up, smoke them again for 2 hours at 225 degrees, and you take them out again, unwrap them, and sauce them, or don't sauce them, and put them back in the smoker at 225 degrees. So you got a 6-hour commitment, but if you do it this way, every single time you make these ribs, they're gonna fall off the bone, man, just like you pay the big bucks for at the big restaurants, all right? So let's have a look at what we've been working with these on. Now, this guy is our Rec-Tec RT B380 pellet grill. It's still a lot of letters. They gotta shorten that. We'll come up with something. All right, so this is a pellet grill. It works on an auger. It's a big, heavy piece of equipment. It costs a couple of extra bucks to get into an entry-level one of these. Is it worth it? You know, it depends on what you care about. This uses pellets, those little like, looks like rabbit food, for heat and the wood flavor. So you don't ever have to add chips, but you can never turn the smoke flavor off. So now it's an entry-level one, which means there isn't a built-in temperature regulator. So you're gonna have to learn what dash does what in your area. It's just a learning curve. You're cool, you save a couple of bucks doing it, but they're really good. And now follow me over here. And this is our Masterbuilt 40-inch electric smoker. And I've been saying this all day. They're all very similar. It's a big tin box. It's got an element under a tray. That element heats the tray up. It either heats up the whole compartment or it smokes the wood chips that are on there. You've got to keep adding wood chips. However, you know, you can turn the wood smoke flavor off for a bit if you want to like do some chicken or anything like that that doesn't have that smoke flavor. Each one has its pluses, each one has its minuses. It's all going to come down, what do they taste like, right? So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're at that part of this whole gig. Uh-oh, there we go. We're at that part of this whole gig where we got to take them out and unwrap them, all right? And then some people here like sauce, some people don't, so we're gonna do half and half, and we're just gonna get that kind of taste comparison between the two, all right? So let's do this here. We looking over here now? Oh, hey, one of the things that I found with this one, the temperature jumps a little. It's not completely maintenance free. As the temperature changes throughout the day, this doesn't really have the ability to adjust itself automatically. So you gotta keep a, you know, not as a, on that thing, but a little bit on this thing. That thing, by the way, is the giant offset smoker thing that I'm pointing at. That is a weekend commitment if you're not running your own business with it. Let me tell you something. All right, so here we go. There's nothing all that pretty to look at. It's all on paper right now. But you can see the capacity here, okay? We have 2 ribs, some rib ends, and that's about it. I mean, you really couldn't fit one more thing on here if you wanted to. Now, Trish from Clearwater, who also happens to be holding the camera, had an interesting question earlier today. She said, why is there more smoke coming out of one than the other? It all depends on where you catch that pellet grill in its pellet feeding cycle. If it's just dropped a fresh new batch of pellets in, you'll get that puff of smoke. So it comes down to when you're seeing it. And with this one here, you kind of, like I said, you add it whenever you want. So capacity-wise, I have 4 full racks of ribs in this bad boy, and I would have room easily for another 4 of the same size. So if it's a capacity issue, Masterbuilt, this one kind of wins hands down. There's really not, there's not too much to argue about. But, I mean, when it comes to what you're gonna do 85, 90% of the time, which is a couple of racks of ribs, big brisket, big pork roast, you know, that's your thing. Hold on there, I gotta grab the garbage. By the way, I think that's my favorite thing on this show, saying by the way. Whenever I don't know what to say or I have to go somewhere, I throw in by the way. I need a hat that says by the way. Let me go ahead and put this here. By the way, if you want to check out a couple of our videos from earlier today, if you've been looking at any of the Blackstones, here, let's put the garbage in front of it, open it up, and then do it that way. We did a little cooking on this earlier today on our Facebook Lives as we were making the ribs. So check back on our page. We put together, this is the best sandwich in here. It's half charcoal, half griddle, all playing by the, there's a rhyme. God, I got to work on that before we go live. All right, so I'm going to take a second here, and I'm going to get all the paper off of this, all right? So here's what we're going to do. We've got most of them unwrapped, And what I want to do is we kind of want to make everybody happy, put sauce on some, not on the other, all right? So I left one here unwrapped so you can kind of see the process. It's kind of messy. You might want to, you know, rubber gloves, or if you don't have chef fingers, because this hurts a lot, you might want to get those silicone mitts. But you can see this, you guys, this butcher paper, I told you, man, let that butcher paper do its thing. Look at that, look at that color. That is so golden and so pretty and so perfect. The smell out here, I'm telling you, you would drop, absolutely drop. Now, we are getting closer. I told you last time, after 3 hours, they were ready to cook and they were perfect, but if you ate it, they would suck. Totally, I stand by that, all right? If you ate these ones, not sucking so bad. These taste pretty good. But we are a little bit away from that magic 6-hour mark when we know all of that connective tissue is broken down and we're gonna get that texture and bite that we're looking for. So here's what I wanna do, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to take half of these ones and I'm going to put them right back in the smoker, good and quick. By the way, these are already pretty fall apart. Now, listen, if you're going to put sauce on a couple and not the other, put the ones with the sauce on them closer to the bottom. I know that 90% of you are going, well, yeah, but there's 10% of there going, oh yeah, we just saved you a little bit. Go ahead there. Remember, we pulled that little silver skin off the back of these things. That's that tiny little membrane of whoops. I'm going to put half of these in and then completely ignore what I said and put in the other half. Trish is just nodding her head. Yep, sounds right. So let's go ahead. You know what? Let's do the same thing over here before we get all the sauce out. Oh, look at this one. Look at that color, man. That is gorgeous. Man, I hope you guys are seeing that good too. I got a little camera behind me that has a peek. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. Woo! Uh-oh, did you see that? These are all ready to fall apart. These already have that texture, you guys. They're just a little short. That's it. That last hour is to get everything nice and caramelized, to get that sauce bubbling on there if you choose to put it on. So here we go. We got half and half, just like that. And let's go ahead and start this. Now, we're just using a regular store-bought. This video is not about sauce. We got lots of videos coming up on making your own sauces at home, different types of varieties. The go-to sauce, like just that one sauce that you need. You know what I mean? You can play around with little variations here and there, but you know, there's a couple of, what do they say in French cooking? There's 4 base sauces, 8, what is it, Colin? How many base sauces in French cooking? 4, we think. All right, so it's like this. There's a couple of base sauces, man. From there you build everything else. But once you master 3, 4, 5 little things back here, depending on what kind of equipment you've got, you know, using a thermometer and a good one to really get that temperature right every time. That way you know your steak's perfect every time, right? Little procedures like knowing not to sauce at the beginning of your cook. And let me tell you something, that took me a long time. Why is everything burning? Right? The simplest things are like, oh yeah, and those are the kind of things we hope you pick up on this show. So here's what we're going to do. Take the last couple here, just like that, and then just over an hour, because we do leave the lids on these open a little longer than normally you would. Oh, before I close this, and after, the capacity, you see that, right? We're done. You get a couple of sausages in there, some peppers for color if you care about that kind of thing. But essentially, you're finished with that, all right? So guys, this is just great. This is the way we wanted it to happen. I kept saying at the beginning, if you want reliable ribs every single time, this is the way to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna load these last 2 in here, and then we are gonna say goodbye for just a little while. Take care of family stuff like I know you have to, getting kids here, getting kids there. Pouring that first glass of wine on a Saturday afternoon. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lift this up so you got something pretty to look at on my way out. Guys, my name is Marc Gill. This is Marc's on the Grill. Thanks for joining us. Hit that notification button so you can come back in about an hour to 15 minutes and see these babies done. See you soon.